Well, I have pastored a couple of churches, and unfortunately, looking back in hindsight, I would have done anything to go back and be able to have taken my people there as their pastor and walk them through those biblical experiences. And so I had transitioned from being a pastor into network denominational ministry before I ever had the chance to go to Israel. And once I went, I knew that this is an experience that every pastor and leader needs to have. And I've said to countless of pastors, every pastor needs to go to Israel at least once, because it changes the way you see Scripture and you communicate Scripture. You go to seminary and you read about it, you learn about it, you learn how to create messages for your people out of it. But until you go and see the backdrop of what you've read and studied and preached for years, it just gives an entirely different feel and experience to the Scriptures. They just come to life. And there's just a difference when you can say, hey, I've been on the Sea of Galilee, the very water that Jesus walked on. And I've been in Jerusalem. I've been on the southern steps. All the experiences you get to see and experience through a tour with you guys, it's just eye-opening, and it changes the way that you communicate and really study the Word. And so for me, in the ministry the Lord's allowed me and entrusted with me, the ministry is to pastors and churches. So the joy I get is to take pastors, and in particularly, man, I love taking pastors on their first trip to Israel as this truth comes to light, as what they've read about now is in sight.
Can I ask you also, what's been the feedback that you've received from some of the pastors that not only went with you initially on a promotional trip for them to experience it the first time, but then when they came back with their own church congregations?
Well, I think for one, when they go, all the things I just talked about, man, it just lights up for them. It's really greater than any class you can take. And then for them to get to go and pastor their people through that experience, and they get to sit at Caesarea Philippi, and they get to talk to their people about when Jesus asked the question, "Who do they say that I am?" And with that in the backdrop is phenomenal. And it's just a deeper level of being able to connect with their people than they've ever been able to do, because they are in the context of the Scriptures. And so it's incredible experience for pastors to do that. And every pastor that I know that has gone on a tour with me and then turn around and have taken their church, man, they absolutely love it. They can't wait to go back. They can't wait to get more people to go. And not only that, guys, what it does as well, it does for me with pastors and does with pastors or people, is, man, I get to spend 10 days with pastors, and I don't get that extended time often. And these pastors get to spend those 10 or 12 days with their people in such an incredible place and experience. And so I always encourage pastors, man, you've got to go and you need to take your people.
You have led, in fact, we got to travel with you, I think back in summer of 22, and you had 3 buses of pastors that you took overseas. How do you kind of prep for that on that level?
Yeah, so the best way I know how to describe it was just organized chaos, controlled chaos. When you have that many, I think we took 128 total. And with that size of a group, just the logistics were challenging. But that's where, if you're watching this, I would say to you, with all seriousness and truth, imagine Tours and Travel is the best there is on the logistical side of all the details. We didn't have to worry about any of that. You're always going to have challenges of people losing luggage and those kind of things, but man, they walked alongside of us with it. From our perspective and from my side, I was out there promoting the trip, and I have an assistant who is phenomenal. She just does an incredible job, and she was working with you guys to get the trip organized and all the logistics, because we had people coming from different places in Texas, some from Houston, some from Dallas, meeting up, flying in, and you guys did such a great job with all the details and the buses and the hotels, etc.